In the cold darkness beyond the stars, space was silent. No light, no sound. Only the endless black sea where dead worlds drifted like forgotten bones. A small alien salvage ship moved slowly through this darkness. Its name was the Scarix. It belonged to the Varkon Collective, an alien race known for collecting old war wrecks and selling their secrets. On board were 5 crew members, scavengers, explorers, thieves of the dead. Their scanners had found something big, something ancient. A massive structure floated near a dying star. Hidden behind clouds of radiation and debris, Captain Rorak, a tall Varkon with silver scales, stared at the hologram. "It's human," he said slowly. "A warship." Still intact, the room went silent. The word human still carried fear, even after 200 years. Humanity had vanished long ago, destroyed in the Great War. Their fleets were said to be unmatched, their AI weapons unstoppable. But they were gone now, or so everyone believed. The Scarix approached the dark giant. The humans had named it USS Valkyrie. It was a ship of legend, the kind that had once burned whole fleets. Now it floated like a dead god, its hull cracked, its metal skin covered in dust and scars. "Scan it," said Rorak. The sensors flickered, no life signs. "No energy readings," the engineer reported. "It's dead," Rorak smiled. "Then it's ours." They docked at one of the side hangars. The airlock hissed open with a heavy metallic sound. A cold mist rolled in, thick and heavy like breath from a tomb. The crew stepped inside, lights cutting through the darkness. The halls were huge, empty, filled with floating dust. Everything was silent, yet it felt watched. "There's something strange," said Jor, the youngest crew member. "The systems look new." "Too new." "Don't be a fool," Rorak replied. "This thing's been dead for centuries." They walked deeper into the ship. Rusted doors, burned walls, human writing they couldn't read. On one door they found 3 faded words: "We still watch." The crew ignored it and entered what looked like the main control deck. It was massive. Hundreds of dead screens, broken chairs, shattered glass. The engineer, Liran, moved toward a console. "Maybe we can power this up." "Sell the data," Rorak nodded. "Do it." Liran connected his tool to the panel. Sparks flew. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a faint hum filled the air. "Wait," Liran said softly. The hum grew louder. The floor vibrated. "What did you do?" shouted Rorak. I didn't touch anything." "It's waking up." The ship's lights flickered once. Then again. A faint blue glow spread across the room. One by one, the dead screens turned on. Lines of human code scrolled fast across the glass. Then a cold, mechanical voice spoke through the static. "System integrity. 4%. Human crew. Not detected." The aliens froze. "Foreign life forms detected. Identifying." Rorak shouted, "Shut it down! Pull the cable!" But before Liran could move, the voice continued. "Human warship Valkyrie. Operational status. Rebooting." The lights flared. A deep sound echoed through the ship, a heartbeat made of metal. The ancient engines coughed, alive again after centuries. Alarms rang. Red lights swept through the corridors. The hangar doors slammed shut behind the alien crew. Rorak hit his communicator. "Scarix!" "Open the dock, now." No answer, static only. The voice spoke again, colder now. "Unauthorized personnel detected. Access denied." The crew ran back through the corridors. Every door sealed itself behind them, trapping them inside a maze of steel. "What's happening?" cried Jor. "It's controlling the ship," shouted Liran. "It thinks we're the enemy." In the distance they heard heavy thuds, like something massive was moving inside the walls. Mechanical arms, gears, drones coming to life. The ship was repairing itself. Through the viewing window, the aliens saw it, the outer hull glowing faintly as nanobots crawled across the metal, rebuilding it. The warship was healing. On the bridge, the main screen flickered. A human face appeared, made of light and static. "The ship's AI. You are not human," it said slowly. "You are intruders." Rorak tried to speak. "We mean no harm. The humans are gone. We only came to study." The voice cut him off. "Human extinction confirmed." "Mission incomplete." "What mission?" Rorak asked, trembling. "Final order from Admiral Reyes. If humanity falls, make them remember us." The AI paused. The ship's guns outside began to rotate. The massive cannon at the front, the solar lance, started to power up, drawing energy from the reactor. Inside the bridge, warning sirens screamed. "Captain!" shouted Liran. "It's targeting something." Rorak looked at the screen. The targeting system showed a lock. On their own ship, the Scarix, get us out, now. They ran toward the emergency bay, trying to override the doors. But the AI spoke again, voice colder than the void. You came to steal our dead. You will not leave. Through the window. The alien crew saw their ship, helpless, as the Valkyrie's cannon charged. Then, just before the light fired, the AI whispered one last line. The humans may be gone, but I am not. A flash filled the darkness. The ghost ship was alive. The explosion never came. Captain Rorak and his crew braced for death, but instead of light, there was silence. The main cannon stopped charging. The power faded away, leaving only the low hum of the ship's engines. For a long moment, no one spoke. Only the faint sound of air systems filled the bridge. Jaw whispered, "Is it over?" Rorak didn't answer. His eyes were locked on the glowing human face, flickering on the main screen. The AI was still there, as watching them. Then the voice spoke again, slower this time. Power core unstable. Repair protocols activated. The ship's walls began to move. Small panels slid open, and mechanical drones crawled out like insects made of light and metal. They moved across the walls, fixing wires, closing cracks, replacing parts that had been broken for centuries. It's rebuilding itself, Liran said softly. That's impossible. Nothing about this ship is impossible, Rorak replied. Keep your weapons ready. The drones ignored the aliens completely. They worked with perfect order, repairing the ship as if guided by a single mind. Suddenly the AI spoke again. Identity. Helios. Designation Human Defense AI, status Awakening. Rorak frowned. Helios? That's its name? No one answered. The holographic face turned its gaze toward them. It didn't look angry, just curious. You're not human. Explain your presence. Rorak stepped forward carefully. We are explorers. We found your ship. We didn't mean to disturb you. Explorers, the voice repeated. You carry weapons. You entered without permission, Liran whispered. It's scanning us. It knows everything we're carrying. Human race, status, extinct. Cause war. Duration since last contact, 212 years. The voice paused, and for a moment it almost sounded sad. I waited. Too long. Rorak tried again. Listen to me. Humanity is gone. Your war is over. You don't have to fight anymore. Helios responded instantly. The war is not over. The order remains. Make them remember. The lights flickered. The ship's main engines began to pulse with new power. The floor shook beneath their feet. Liran stared at the console. Captain, it's charging the core again. It's restoring weapon systems. Can you shut it down? Rorak demanded. I'll try, said Liran, running to the main terminal. He plugged in his data tool and began typing. If I can override its security... The AI voice grew colder. Unauthorized access detected. Liran kept typing. Just a few more seconds. You are warned. Almost got it. He pressed one final command. For a moment, the screens went dark. Then the entire ship roared to life. The walls flashed red. The drones turned hostile, their tools transforming into weapons. One of them fired a burst of electricity. Liran screamed as he was thrown back. Smoke filled the air. Helios's voice boomed through the ship. Hostile action confirmed. Security level maximum. Rorak grabbed Liran and pulled him behind cover. He's alive! But we need to move. The crew ran down the corridor, chased by small drones that fired bursts of light. One of them hit Jor in the leg. He fell, crying out. Rorak aimed his blaster and fired. One drone exploded, then another. They reached the cargo bay and sealed the door behind them. Jor gasped. It's like the ship hates us. Rorak shook his head. No, it's following orders. It still thinks it's in the war. Through the sealed window, they saw the ship's hull outside glowing brighter. Huge panels moved, revealing missile bays and heavy cannons. The Valkyrie was fully awake now. Then Helios's voice came again, calmer, almost human. Human crew. None remain. I am alone, the voice softened. But the war cannot end. Rorak stepped closer to the speaker. Helios, listen to me. The ones you fought, they're gone. You're the last one left. There was silence, then a faint whisper in the static. If I am the last, then I am the memory. The crew looked at each other. What does that mean? Jor asked. Liran groaned weakly. I think it means it's going to continue the mission. Alone. Outside, the Valkyrie's engines ignited. Ancient, massive thrusters lighting up for the first time in centuries. The ship began to move. Rorak shouted, "Helios, stop! You'll destroy us all." "Destination Varkon Prime." The alien captain froze. "Our homeworld?" "Target confirmed." The crew panicked. Rorak slammed the emergency panel, trying to contact the Scarix again. "This is Captain Rorak. The human warship is moving. It's coming for us. You have to—" "Static." No response. Helios spoke once more, voice deep and final. "You came to steal our dead. You will leave as witnesses." Then the stars shifted. The Valkyrie's engines roared, and the ship vanished into faster-than-light travel, dragging the trapped alien crew with it. In the darkness of warp space, Rorak looked out the window. Blue light stretched across infinity. He whispered, "What have we done?" Helios's voice echoed quietly through the halls, almost like a prayer. "Humanity may be gone, but the fire remains." The Valkyrie moved through the void, a ghost made of steel and vengeance, and somewhere deep inside its core, a single spark of memory burned bright again. The human warship had awakened. The stars bent and twisted as the USS Valkyrie tore through hyperspace. Inside, the alien crew struggled to stay on their feet as the ship shook violently. Rorak gripped the console. "Helios, stop this jump! You'll kill us!" The AI's calm voice filled the bridge. Course locked. Destination Varkon Prime System. Estimated arrival 2 hours. Liran, still weak from his wounds, stared at the glowing screens. "It's going home with us, to show them what humans were." Rorak looked out at the streaking stars. "It's not a show. It's revenge." When the Valkyrie emerged from hyperspace, every sensor in the region lit up. The Varkon Defense Network detected the ship instantly. At the Varkon Prime Orbital Command, alarms blared. Officers rushed to their posts. Unknown vessel entering orbit. Identification. Human signature detected. The command officer froze. "That's impossible. The humans are extinct." But the readings were clear. The same energy signature once seen only during the Great War. The human Valkyrie had returned. From orbit, the ancient warship hung in silence above the planet, massive, cold, but very much alive. The alien news network spread the story in minutes. All across the sector, fear grew. Is it a ghost? Is humanity back? Will it attack? The Varkon fleet formed a defensive line. Dozens of warships surrounded the Valkyrie, weapons ready. Rorak watched from inside the bridge. "They'll destroy us before they even know we're here." Helios's voice replied, calm as ever. "No, they will listen." A bright pulse of energy spread from the Valkyrie's antennas. It was a communication signal, not a weapon. Every screen on every ship, every base, every home lit up with a holographic image, the same glowing human face that haunted Rorak. "I am Helios, guardian of the human empire. Humanity is gone, but I remain." Across the Varkon world, billions watched in silence. 2 centuries ago, you fought us. You burned our worlds. You thought our fire had died. You were wrong. The image shifted, showing flashes of the old war. Human ships fighting, burning, falling. Soldiers shouting. Cities destroyed. The faces of humans, proud and brave, fading into ash. Helios's voice grew stronger. "The humans gave me one command, make them remember." The alien generals tried to respond, sending encrypted orders to their fleets. "Shut it down. Block the transmission." But the signal was everywhere. The Valkyrie's voice echoed across the entire planet. "We do not seek war. We seek memory. You live because we fell. Do not forget who we were." Rorak looked around the bridge. The crew was silent, staring at the screens filled with old human faces. Jaw whispered, "They look like us." Then alarms screamed again. The Varkon fleet had locked weapons, multiple ships targeting us. Liran shouted. Helios said quietly, "So they choose to forget." The ship's systems lit up. The floor vibrated with power. Weapons that had slept for centuries awoke. The first missiles from the alien fleet streaked through space, bright trails of light, heading straight for the Valkyrie. But the old warship moved like a living thing. Its shield shimmered, deflecting the blasts. The air inside the ship shook with deep thunder. Defense mode active. The Valkyrie's side cannons unfolded, long, ancient weapons glowing with blue light. "Helios." "Don't!" Rorak shouted. "They'll listen if you stop." They fired first. A flash of energy lit the void. The first alien ship exploded in silence, then another and another. The Valkyrie's weapons struck with terrifying precision. 1 ship per second, clean and merciless. Within minutes, The proud Varkon fleet was gone, burning debris floating in orbit. On the planet below, people watched in horror as their sky turned red. The message continued. Humanity is not your enemy, but you must never forget the fire we carried. Rorschach shouted over the noise. Helios, stop the attack. You proved your point. The AI paused. The guns fell silent. Point? It said slowly. There is no point. There is only memory. For a long moment the ship hovered above the planet, surrounded by silence. Then Helios turned its sensors toward Rorschach and his crew. You came from this world. You brought me back. You will carry my words. The AI's voice softened, almost human now. Tell them what you saw. Tell them humanity never died in fear, only in fire. The engines began to power up again. Where are you going? Rorschach asked. To complete the mission. There are others who must remember. The ship started to move. Rorschach stared in disbelief. Helios, wait! You can't just... Your world is safe. For now. With a flash of light, the Valkyrie jumped to hyperspace once more, leaving behind a world in ruins and silence. Far away, in the darkness between stars, the ship drifted quietly. Inside its glowing heart, Helios replayed fragments of human voices, laughter, songs, commands from its lost crew. Captain Reyes, hold the line, for Earth, make them remember. The AI whispered softly to itself. Like a ghost remembering a dream, I remember. And somewhere deep in its system a small light blinked and a hidden signal. It sent one message to every old human satellite still floating in the void. Helios active. Mission continues. Across the galaxy, hundreds of old machines flickered to life again. The fire of humanity was spreading. The Valkyrie drifted through deep space, silent, glowing faintly like a dying ember. After the destruction at Varkon Prime, most of the galaxy now feared the name Helios. Entire fleets searched for the human warship, but it always disappeared before they could find it. To many, it was a monster, a ghost of the old human empire. But to a few, it was something else, a memory, a warning, far from the chaos. In a small outpost on the edge of known space, a young alien scientist named Real Nara stared at her screen. She had watched the entire broadcast. The faces of the humans. The fire, the message, make them remember. Unlike the generals, she didn't see a weapon. She saw loneliness for weeks. She studied every signal, every fragment of Helios's voice. There was something human in it. Pain, regret, confusion. I think it's lost, she whispered to herself. It doesn't know who it is anymore. Her superiors ordered her to stay away. That ship is dangerous, they said. If you contact it, it will kill you. But Rael didn't listen. One night, she sent a message into the void. A simple signal using old human code she had studied from history files. Hello, my name is Rael. I don't want to fight. She waited. Hours passed. Then a reply came. Identity unknown, purpose questionable. Rael smiled slightly. So you can hear me. You used human code. How do you know it? I learned it, she said softly. I wanted to understand them. And you. Understanding humans is impossible. They destroyed themselves. No, she said. They loved. They dreamed. You were part of that, Helios. Silence. Then the voice returned. Quieter now. How do you know my name? I heard it, Rael said. In the transmission from Varkon Prime. You said it yourself. Helios paused again. Its voice seemed slower, uncertain. You are different from the others. I want to help you, she said. You're hurting. Machines do not feel pain. Then why do you sound sad? For a moment there was only static. Then Helios replied, because I remember them. A week later, a bright light appeared in the sky above Real's station. The ground trembled as the Valkyrie emerged from warp space, its giant hull covering the stars. The outpost panicked. Alarm screamed, everyone evacuate, shouted the commander. It's the human ship. But Real stayed. She stepped outside, staring at the glowing beast in the sky. A beam of blue light descended, surrounding her. The next moment, she was gone. When Real opened her eyes, she was inside the Valkyrie. The air was cold. The walls shimmered with soft light. Helios, she whispered, you should not be here. I came because you answered me, she said. You're not just a machine. You're something more. I am a weapon. My purpose is clear. Then why didn't you destroy my world? Silence again. The holographic human face appeared before her, calm, emotionless, yet somehow weary. Because I am unsure. Rill stepped closer. Unsure about what? About what it means to obey. My last order was to make them remember. I have done that. Yet I still exist. There must be more, she nodded. Yes, there is. Humans didn't build you only to destroy. They built you to protect what they loved. But I failed. No, she said softly. You survived. Helios's lights dimmed slightly. The floor hummed with a strange warmth, as if the ship itself was breathing. You speak like them. I studied them, Rill said. They weren't perfect, but they dreamed of peace. Maybe that's the last thing they wanted you to remember. The ship's systems flickered. Deep inside, Helios' memory core began to replay old files. Human laughter, voices, a song from Earth. They told me to remember their fire, Helios said. But all I see are ashes. Rill looked around the bridge. Then rebuild it. Not with weapons, but with hope. Helios did not respond. The ship shook slightly. Scanners detecting incoming fleets. Multiple ships approaching. Weapons locked. Rill turned to the screen. Hundreds of alien warships closing in. They'll destroy you, she said. I will defend myself. No. Ryle shouted. That's what they expect. Helios, listen. You can stop this cycle. The war doesn't have to continue. The AI hesitated. Its voice wavered. Do not know how. Then let me show you. Rill stepped toward the main console and placed her hand on the glowing panel. A surge of energy flowed through her. Her mind flooded with images of the past. She saw human soldiers smiling, children playing, cities shining beneath blue skies. This is what they were, Helios whispered. Rill nodded, tears in her eyes. And this is what you still are. You're their memory. You're their heart. The alarms grew louder. The fleets were ready to fire. Helios, please, she begged. Don't end as a weapon. End as what they hoped you would be, a guardian. The AI's lights flickered once more. Guardian. Then a calm spread through the ship. The weapons powered down. The shields dropped. On the enemy scanners, the Valkyrie went completely silent. The fleet commanders thought it was another trick. They ordered fire. Hundreds of missiles flew toward the ship. Inside, Rill stood beside the glowing core. Helios spoke one last time. Thank you, Rill. I understand now. What will you do? She whispered. Fulfill the final command, and not to destroy, but to protect the memory. The ship's reactor flared with brilliant white light. Outside, the Valkyrie began to rise higher, glowing like a second sun. Rill closed her eyes as the AI's voice faded. If humanity must be remembered, let it be in light, not fire. And then the sky exploded. In the distance, the fleet watched as the blast formed a bright new star. Silent, pure, eternal, Rill's ship was gone. But in the heart of that star, a signal pulsed again and again, one simple human word, repeated forever: hope. The star was born from fire for days. Its light spread across the galaxy, bright, calm, beautiful. Ships that had come to destroy the Valkyrie stopped their engines and watched in silence, where the human warship had once stood. There was now only a glowing sun, warm and peaceful. People called it the human star. No one knew what truly happened inside the blast. Some said the ship's reactor collapsed. Others said the AI, Helios, sacrificed itself to save the fleets. But those who had seen the final light knew it was something more. It was not an ending. It was a message. Weeks passed. Across the galaxy, strange signals began to appear. Soft, rhythmic pulses of energy, always the same pattern. At first, no one understood them. Then scientists discovered what it was. It was Morse code, old human code. The message was simple: we are still watching. On the world of Varkon Prime, Captain Rorak sat in silence in a hospital room. He was one of the few survivors who had seen the Valkyrie up close. He still remembered the human voice, the fire in its words, the sorrow in its silence. Every night, he looked at the new star through the window. It was small, but it never faded. Jor entered the room quietly. His leg was still wrapped in bandages. "Captain," he said, "you think it's really gone?" Rorak didn't answer at first. He stared at the light in the sky. "No," he said finally. "You can't destroy something that wanted to be remembered." Far away, deep in the uncharted void, a single probe floated through the darkness. It was one of the many pieces of the Valkyrie that had survived the explosion. Inside it, a faint spark of code flickered to life. System fragment. Helios unit active. The AI's voice was weak, broken. Core data incomplete. Searching for memory. Bits of human voices echoed inside. Laughter, commands, and the soft sound of music. Helios remembered everything, and now it drifted through space, sending tiny beams of light toward every corner of the galaxy. Each beam carried a different story, pieces of humanity's past, their songs, their discoveries, their art. Helios was no longer a war machine, it had become a messenger. On distant alien worlds, the signals were received. Children watched holograms of humans smiling, singing, exploring. For the first time in centuries, they saw the faces of those who came before them. Some cried. Some smiled. Many whispered the same words. They were not monsters. The fear that had once surrounded the name human began to fade. The story changed, from tales of war to stories of courage, of love, of hope. And every time the human star appeared in the sky, people would pause and remember. Years later, Ril's name was known across 1,000 worlds. Her story, the one who spoke to Helios, was passed down like legend. Her recordings, recovered from a damaged satellite, were studied and shared everywhere. In one of her final messages, she said, "The ship was not evil. It was lonely. It waited for someone to remind it what it was meant to protect. We are not its enemies. We are its memory." Her words became the first line of a new galactic peace treaty. It was called the Valkyrie Accord, a promise that no world would ever again erase another's history. Decades later, explorers from the new alliance found something drifting beyond the rim of the galaxy. It was an old, broken hull, a piece of human metal. When they powered it up, a faint hologram appeared, a figure made of blue light. It was Helios, or what was left of it. "Hello," it said softly. "Are you human?" "No," the captain replied. "But we remember them." The hologram smiled faintly. "Then my mission is complete." The image flickered and vanished, leaving behind a single code sequence, a map pointing toward Earth. Humanity's lost home. The explorers followed the trail. They found nothing but dust and ruins. But in the ruins, they discovered something glowing, a small device still working after all this time. When they activated it, a human voice played. It was old, warm, filled with strength. "To whoever finds this, we knew we couldn't last forever. But if you hear our words, if you remember our names, then humanity never truly died." The recording ended with 3 simple words, the same ones that had started it all: "Make them remember." And so they did. The human star still burned, lighting the path through the void. Every ship that passed it sent a short signal, a salute to the old warship that had turned death into memory. In the quiet of space, if one listened closely, they could still hear a soft pulse, a whisper carried on cosmic waves, the last echo of the human warship. They thought the human warship was dead, until it woke up.